Welcome to Boss Up Babes, helping babes show up, boss up, and thrive. With #1 best-selling author, global influencer, and ultimate boss babe, Larissa Soehn. Larissa is a health and wellness expert and CEO of the 365 Daily Hustle, here to help mompreneurs and career-focused women boss up and reclaim their healthiest life. She is a pro at cutting through the BS and inspiring massive breakthroughs that help women create healthy routines and habits that facilitate personal and professional growth. Are you ready to reclaim your best life, take action, and be a badass boss babe? Let's get to it.
What up, everyone? It's your girl, Larissa Soehn, #1 mindset and transformational coach. And you are listening to another badass episode of Boss Up Babes. And I am so excited for today's interview. Literally, I've been messaging this guest. I've already had a pre-interview. I had her on my Facebook page. Like, I'm just so in love with what she's doing and how she's helping people put their stories into books and becoming best-selling authors. So definitely grab a pen and paper, because today we're talking all about how you can unlock the marketing superpowers by leveraging your current book or new book. And if you are looking to write a book, whether it's fictional or nonfiction or memoir, anything like that, this is going to be the episode for you to listen to. Now, before I bring on my amazing guest, a little life update. So my husband, he has left. He left about a week and a half ago. You guys all know, if you've been following and listening to these podcasts, it's been a long time coming, but he left for his 12 months deployment. So he didn't leave me by any means, but he did go. And it was just such a sad day. But something I just kind of want to, really refocus in on is, because so many people, when they get like a moment in life, or they experience something that's really challenging, because this is challenging. It's not fun when your partner leaves for 12 months, and you have to now be the go-to everyone, right? The mom, the dad, you got to take care of the house stuff and the work stuff and like everything. It's a stressful time in our lives, and if you're military, you'll understand that. And if you're not, like, maybe you've had your partner leave you for a week and you're like, oh my God, life fell apart, right? But this is 12 months. But what I realized looking back, because I've been journaling every day, I've been always focusing in on the positive. So when we go through a challenging time in our life, sometimes we can just focus in on all the negative stuff, right? Like I've got so much stuff to do, and all the responsibilities on me, and I miss them, and all the stuff that is not so great. And yes, it's happening, but I'm able to stay so positive through all of this. And I'm literally declaring, like, the next 12 months, Larissa, you're going to stay positive, because I look for the positive. So immediately I started thinking, well, what can I do now that he is not here, instead of, what all the things I quote unquote have to do. So if you're going through something crazy or a challenging time in your life, ladies, I just want to remind you that A, you're a strong, bold, badass woman. You can do anything that you put your mind to, but B, just try and find the positive. It really helps any negative situation, any not so great situation, any not so fun situation. Like, I've already been thinking, the last 2 weeks I've been, adding extra meditation and hypnosis at night, because normally that would be our time. And now I get to go to bed to hypnosis, and I get to the gym a little bit earlier in the morning. Like, there's just so many fun things that I can look forward to, instead of always be looking towards the negative. Because if I did, God, that'd be a long 12 months. I will just say that right now. But enough about me. I wanted to give you that little life update. So today, let's dive into the juicy topic of how you can leverage your story and your book to really help you grow your business. And today I've brought you a special guest. Her name is Larissa, and a few words that describe her are, drumroll please, driven, committed, loyal, talented, and a badass. And I know you guys are not, you're not even questioning her, because I only bring like bold, badass women onto the show, like true boss up babes. And so Larissa is like all the others that I've interviewed, a total boss up babe, leading the way and helping impact the lives of others. So this is who you will call when you are ready to get serious about upping your marketing game and really boosting your business to the next level. Larissa is a hands-on coach who walks alongside of you every step of the publishing journey as your one-to-one resource for all things bookish, right? So with that, I'm going to bring her on. Larissa, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. And I thank you for sharing your story and your updates. The quote that kind of came to my mind when you were talking about focusing on the better is, it was something along the lines of, if you focus on the good gets better.
Yeah.
Right. And I just read that this morning. So I love that. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, it's fun to share the journey. I mean, gosh, I remember 7 months ago when we got the news that he was leaving for 12 months overseas. And I was like, oh, I shared the news. I was like, but I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. So 2 weeks in, and guess what? I'm okay.
Yeah, that's right.
I love it. And it's absolutely true. I don't know who wrote that quote either, but yeah, you focus on the good, it only gets better. You focus on the negative, shit just spirals out of control.
Absolutely.
Well, it's so good to have you on the show. I'm looking forward to this interview, like big time. And I've got some questions for you, obviously. So this is the Boss Up Babe show. And the question, that I like to start off the show with is, what does the word boss up mean to you? And tell me then about a time in your life or your business where you had to boss up. So what does boss up mean to you?
When we started talking and you started bringing the boss up language into my life, I immediately thought of doing what's right for me in the moment and in life, because kind of my story is I'm ex-corporate. I worked for 12 years in the petrochemical industry. I was very much in the corporate world, leadership, all of that fun stuff. But it got to a point where I had to make a decision of, do I keep doing something that is sucking the life from me? Or do I boss up, make the hard decision, and go down a path less traveled? And so when I think of the boss up frame, it's the moment of decision where you choose to do what's right for you and not what other people think you should do.
Yes. You nailed it. Yeah, it's taking courageous action steps, even when you don't know the path and you can't see and you maybe lost faith and you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. It's like literally it's turning the page to the next chapter and writing your story how you want it. I love it. So tell me and the audience a little bit about a time in your life where you had to boss up besides the corporate, and unless that's the story you want to roll with.
That's kind of my story. I'll take it back a little bit further. So I struggle with mental health. I have for years, and a couple of years ago, I burnt out from my corporate position, and I burnt out hard. I wasn't able to work. I was off work for a couple of years. I was not a very good mom. I wasn't a very good wife. I was all of these things. And it kind of came to a point where I was getting better. I had been off work for a while. I had done a lot of therapeutic writing and therapy and all of these amazing things that were working for me. But I had to make this decision again. Do I go back to corporate and risk the burnout again? Or do I make a different decision and go, a full 180-degree turn from what I'm doing? And that's the road I chose. And it was my therapist, because I love therapists, I preach to all therapists, who was like, I kept saying, I have to go back. I have to go back. And she's like, you don't have to do anything. Like, what do you want to do? And I was like, it was such an empowering shift of my frame of mind of, you're right, I don't have to, I get to choose. And so I chose not to go back. And that was like my biggest boss up moment. Everything I've done since then has been because of that moment, deciding that I get to choose where my future goes and I choose to change it.
And that's so much more empowering, right? When you realize you have the choice, you're not stuck in anything. I'm a no BS kind of coach, right? Like I shoot it straight. I give women what they need to hear and not what they want to hear all the time, even on sales calls, even if it means that I might miss a sale, right? Like, I'm like, listen, lady, like, I just want to remind you that you don't have to live in the reality that you're living in. You can change that. And she got so mad at me, but I have to think, like a week later, she obviously didn't sign with me because she was pissed off. Like I called her out on it and she was upset, right? It's hard to sometimes hear that truth. And she messaged me on Facebook a week later and she said, you know what, you're absolutely right. The fact that I was triggered by that, it allowed me to take a few steps back and be like, why am I triggered so much by this? And just, it started like, I was coaching her without even her being a client. And I absolutely, love that, like, I love reminding women that they get to choose their destiny. They get to write, the pages. They get to, if they don't like something about their life, change your thoughts, change your mindset, change your environment. You get to change. And I'm so glad someone said that to you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. So how did you become like this badass author and writer and coach?
Oh my goodness. It started out with the writing. So again, I was heavily depressed, anxious about everything, not doing what I wanted to do in life. And I needed an escape and I needed a way to kind of walk in someone else's shoes, but I needed to create that person. So I started writing a book, and it's funny because, I coach women now to write their books. That's my whole thing. And they come into it very intentionally, like I want to write a book. But with my first book, I didn't know I was writing a book until I was like 3 chapters in, and my husband walks in and he's, what are you doing? And I was like, I think I'm writing a book. Like, I don't know what's happening, but it's turning into a book. And the beautiful part, so my first book is a sci-fi book, and she travels through galaxies and worlds, and she's at war and she's fighting aliens, and she's not like, I have never done that. I haven't traveled to different planets, but her personality, her struggles, her internal warfare was me at the time. So I created her, and in the beginning, in the first few chapters, she's a hard character to like. And it's a tough character to write because you want to create a really relatable character that people connect with. But in the beginning, she's depressed, she's anxious, she's dissatisfied with everything. She's not a very fun person. And she struggles hard. And so that's the first few chapters of the book. But then she, like, she's transported to another world, and she has to grow and change. And to write her effectively, I had to grow and change. So in 8 weeks, I transformed myself through her.
Wow. That's so cool. I love when women kind of are going through the shit and they don't even realize they're like creating some magical path. I love when you said, right, here you were 3 chapters in and you're like, I think I'm writing a book. It's so beautiful. And that's obviously, I think the first time I met you, I was like, well, you clearly have to have a passion for writing, because I love sharing my story, but writing is like, I'm like, oh, I'd rather pay someone. You're like, actually, I'm a ghostwriter. And I'm like, yes, there's hope.
Yeah.
My next book, right? I think that's so cool. So tell us a little bit about where people can find you, the best place if they are thinking about writing a book, if they want to write a book, if it's been on their bucket list and like, this is the year I'm gonna do it. Where can people go to find out more about you?
Yeah, so I specifically work with coaches who are looking to write books to boost their business. So if you have a program that you're looking to turn into a book, or you've been on tons of podcasts and interviews that you want to transcribe into your book, that's my specialty, is the transformative self-help how-to kind of books. So you can find me at larissasoehn.coach for that type of work. I also do ghostwriting, like you mentioned, and I love all of the genres when it comes to ghostwriting. Like I can do sci-fi, memoir, how-to, all of them. And I know a lot of the advice in this world is to niche down. I just cannot, when it comes to ghostwriting, cannot pick one. They're all too special. And when someone comes to you and says, I want to tell my story, how do you say no? Right? Like, how do you take that away from someone? I can say like, we're not the right fit and like direct you to someone else because maybe our voices don't match or our tone or whatever the case might be. But to flat out say, no, you're not my genre is like so hard for me. So it's like, I write in all genres because I believe every story is worth telling.
Yeah, a little different. There's an exception to the golden rule, right?
Yeah, that's right.
If you're a coach, niche down. If you are passionate about helping coaches put their stories into awesomeness, yeah, like
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, all right. So I can get behind that. All right. So what what really can a book do? Like I have a powerful story around what my book has done for my business as a coach, as a speaker, but more importantly, like as a woman, right? Like that book gave me so much confidence and so much like my badass just like emerged right out of this book. But what do you think a book can do for a person to help grow their business?
You kind of hit on the big items. There's so many things that come with calling yourself an author. And the main one is the credibility. And I think you and I know that at face value. Like when you start talking to someone and you're thinking about hiring them or you're thinking about bringing them on as a paid speaker, the moment they say, hey, I'm an author, there is this level of credibility that goes with that before they've even read your work. Like they don't even have to read your book to think of you as a credible source. Yeah. They know you have the dedication to write a book. They know you have the expertise. They see the confidence in your words and the title you've assigned yourself. It's so powerful in one word. I don't know of any marketing word that is so powerful as author.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, it elevated me as professional. Like I said, personally, it hit me where I was like, I'm an author. And then it was, I'm a best-selling author. Mm-hmm. And like this title emerged out of it. And now when I'm on stages, I'm like, gosh, I wish I had one of my books. I'm literally like, I have 5 copies, the first 5 ladies to run up, when I'm done. And these women just jump over each other. Like they want their hands on the book. They want a signed copy. And instantly then you're right. It gave me credibility and it gave me authority and it allowed me to say, I am an expert in this field. So if you're anyone in business, if you're looking to kind of establish the authority, your expertise, if you're ready to become legendary in your field, in your industry, I want you to consider reaching out to Larissa for a book project idea, even consult, like just see what she has to offer you, because it absolutely has been a game changer. I made 10 grand in my first year in business. And I believe that the book was the catalyst that got me to be making multi-6 figures every single month. So like, I love books and I'm a huge promoter of having them as a marketing piece. So what is the biggest thing that holds women back? Do you think men and women, I tend to talk to women specifically, but what do you think are what is the biggest thing that hold women back from writing or even publishing a book?
Yeah. Fear is the biggest thing holding women back. They're scared they don't have the expertise. They're scared they don't have the time and they're scared they don't have the skill. And it's such a shame to see these powerful women and men settle for less because they're afraid. Like we do so much as coaches for other people. We coach constantly on overcoming their fear and taking the step and the plunge and doing what's right for them in the moment. Yet when it comes to writing your book, people get hung up. They worry that they're not enough, and that imposter syndrome sets in and it stops them from getting started and stops them from doing something beautiful.
So what would be some strategies to help women get over the fear and put themselves out there?
That's such a good question, because fear is such a unique thing for people. And every line you use with people, it's so different. That's why, like in all of my discovery calls and stuff, like I hate having a script, right? Because everyone needs to hear something different. And a lot of times it's focusing on the result. If you did this, where would you be? What would your future look like? What would you have? How would you feel? And it's just leaping over that, oh my God, I can't do this, to what if you did? Like, let's just drop it. Like, what if there was nothing holding you back? What if you had infinite amount of time, the skill was there, you had the resources? What would it look like to call yourself an author? How would that feel? And it's just creating this new reality in their head that isn't rooted in fear.
I love that. So the golden nugget, you guys, if you're writing these things down, like how to kind of step out of the fear and into an empowered action, would be to focus in on the results, right? As women, I feel, and as a coach who just coaches women, that's like their biggest thing is they always live in the what if it goes wrong world. What if someone doesn't buy the book? What if someone doesn't like what I said? What if I hurt my family's feelings? Like, what will people think of me? And I'm like, oh my God, but what if it launch your business? What if? So you guys, I want you guys to start thinking, what if I did do it? What if I did write the book this year? What if I did just started like the journaling for the book? What would happen in a good way, in a positive way to kind of, like make, like what good is going to come from this project instead of thinking what's bad? I love that. Yeah. So what is the biggest mistake that you see new authors make?
I think it's getting in their head when you start writing a book. We're very intentional with my clients on how we start. We start with figuring out who we're writing to, and then outlining the book so that we are so clear on what our messaging is at each point. And I think without that clarity, let's say you don't have a coach and you're going at this on your own, people get so lost in what they're trying to say and who they're trying to say it to that they give up. They'll write something and be like, this isn't what I want to say, and they'll never go back, and they'll get discouraged and they'll stop. And it's like, you don't have to outline if that's not your style, but you can't stop. And you just need to keep going. Okay, so that chapter didn't go the way you wanted it, rewrite it. Now you know what you don't want. Right. Go back to what you do, right? So that's my strategy with all my writing, with all my sci-fi, any genre is, I personally with my sci-fi, I don't plan it. I have no idea what's happening in my books. It's as the words are coming out, I'm learning the story as same as the readers.
Wow.
And sometimes I would write a chapter and I get to the end and be like, well, that sucks. I don't want that. And so, you scratch it out and you go back to the point where you made the wrong decision and you rewrite it.
Love that. So how would one even get started? We've talked a little bit about the mistakes that newer authors make. We've talked about how, you gave a beautiful strategy on how you can overcome that fear of putting your voice, your story out there. But how would someone get started writing their dream book?
It depends. It doesn't depend. It does. Sorry, waffle a little bit there. I was thinking it depends on the genre and your planning style. So if you're a planner, and if you're writing in the nonfiction, let's talk the nonfiction for right now, because that's where my specialty is. It really helps to plan out your book and to know who you're writing to. So those are the two places we start. Every client starts there. We talk about who you're writing to. We get to know that person so intimately that we know exactly what they need to hear and what they don't want to hear. And then you outline. And the outlining is honestly what overwhelms a lot of people because they're like, I have no idea where to start. But it could not be easier when you have the right system in place. And that's exactly what I take my clients through. And what the beautiful thing is, their outline exists. 90% of the time, the outline exists before we even start. It's just putting it down on paper.
I love that. I am a planner. So yes, I would like, here's my outcome. This is like who I'm talking to. I even would probably go to like when I write like for content and business, I find myself like I'll even identify like, well, what's the pain point? What do they think they need? Where do they need? What do they actually need? I love teaching. So I think if I were to write my next book with you, it would definitely be like almost like a self-help. Like this was my journey. This is my story. This is how I turned my pain into power. And so can you. I think that would be really cool. So with the last minute that we have here, what would be your biggest piece of advice just for women in general who are looking to do something cool in their life?
My favorite thing that I've come across lately is the need versus want. I have gotten into this spiral of, oh, like you kind of said earlier, oh, I need to do this. I need to do this. I have to do this. And it's like, every time I say the word need, I switch it with want. What do I want to do in this moment? And that really sucks when it comes back to like, oh, I need to do laundry. What do I want to? I don't want to do laundry, but I need to do laundry. But like big picture things in my life, like, oh, I need to do all these things. But what do I want to do? And it's balancing those two. So yes, I have to do laundry, and I dread to think the pile on my bed right now. But I can pair that with what I want to do. Okay, I want to watch TV for 20 minutes. I will do laundry and then I'll watch TV for 20 minutes. And it balances those things out. So just give yourself what you want as well as what you need.
Yeah, I love that. I know on my health coaching side, the habits that we're starting to teach our clients how to do is like move their bodies and food prep and meal plan and just some of those basic things that if we want to boss up our health and our lifestyle, it comes down to the habits. And I'm like, yeah, but how can you make that workout fun? Because fun is a huge play. It's like, yeah, we need to work out every day. Yes. Like if we want the results, we need to move our bodies, and not just for like the physical results, guys, but like if we want to live a long, healthy, vibrant life full of energy, working out is just one of those things, right? And so instead of thinking of like, I need to go work out today, it's like, well, I always say I want to and I get to, but how can I make that fun? So it doesn't matter if you're writing a book, like how can you make the process of writing a book fun? Maybe you want a voice to talk to text, like maybe you want to, like talk into Zoom or record yourself and then send it. Like, how can you make it fun? How can you make it something that you're willing to do so that the project gets done? How can you turn laundry into a fun task with your kids? How can you turn dinner into something, not so overwhelming and stressful? Like just always remembering, like, it can be easy if you choose to be easy, right? If you choose to make the process fun, anything that we don't want to do can also turn into something that we get to do. I think that's beautiful. Yeah. All right, you guys. Oh my gosh, I could keep talking to Larissa. I told you she's fantastic. I'm going to definitely try and get her back on the show at some point. So with all of that, if you are looking to write, if you are looking to tell your story, share your advice, like just be bold and put that out there. If you're looking for a coach or ghostwriter, anyone like that, I want to encourage you to reach out to Larissa. She's fantastic. Like I'm personally going to invite her to my coaching program because a lot of my lady bosses want to write their books. It's just going to be such a fun time with that. So if you're looking to write a book, talk to Larissa. If you're looking to boss up your body and your business, talk to Carissa. The number one mindset and health expert and impact-driven lady bosses and coaches hire me to help them boss up their bodies, their mindsets, and their bank accounts. So if you're tired of playing small, ladies, and you know you're meant for more, book a call with Larissa or book a call with me. We'd be happy to help you step up, boss up, and do the damn thing. So with that, you guys have a beautiful day, and I will see you again next week. Have a fabulous day. Thanks, Larissa.
Thank you for listening to Boss Up Babes with Carissa Adkins, bringing you tangible tips and expert coaching advice to help you boss up and get healthy. Tune in every Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific on transformationtalkradio.com for interviews with industry leaders and powerhouse boss babes that will empower you to take action and live your best life. If you're ready to boss up and work with Carissa in one of her transformative group coaching programs, visit 365dailyhustle.com.